Hello and well met. This is Laren with the Fantasy Grounds Academy. Today I'm going to be going over the Monk, and I'd like to build it in the new 2024 5e Player's Handbook. This is just for me to check out the class. I mean, I built fighters, clerics, warlocks, so I'm kind of moving on to the next class. So want to make sure everything's working right, and this is a way for me to get familiarized with the changes that have happened in the rule set and with Fantasy Grounds. So this is why I'm doing these videos, other than to share the process with you guys and so maybe inspire you to do the same. So basically I went through and took some notes for my reference materials, and this is going to be a build path to level 4. Obviously we can't cover every single situation, but I've settled on at level 3. I think I'm going to take the way of the open hand, which is going to focus more on unarmed combat as opposed to like a weapons master or way of the elements. So you got 4 basic monk subclasses that you get at level 3. So you have the Warrior of Mercy, Warrior of Shadow, Warrior of Elements, and Warrior of the Open Hand. So I kind of like that mix up there, or the the different variety. So I also want to mention that there is a process to doing this in Fantasy Grounds. So the first things first is you got to make sure that either yourself or your players have the content activated and open in your library. So if you go to your let's go to modules. Just make sure that the player's handbook is active, and that includes players. They also have to enable it on their side of the table. So if you've got new people, make sure that they have this book open. It's usually default shared unless you've changed it. So when you load up your session, it's already shared out. The players just have to go into modules and activate this. So you want to do that before you start the character wizard. That way it pulls in all the resources that it needs. Now on this, once the character wizard is popped up, what you get to through going to characters, and then you pick character wizard, and this will pop up. So here are all your choices. Now if you are mixing and matching 2014 and 2024 content, you want to make sure that you're choosing from the right source. So up here you can actually choose between the books that you're going to be using. In this case I don't have to worry about it. I only have the 2024 5e rule set loaded, but you could select the book. If you had a lot of books, you can search for them by name if you know the name of it. And for right now I'm going to click on Monk. And if you click on the actual text, you'll get a pop-up of the actual Monk class. I recommend that you take this actual page, left-click and drag, bring it down to your toolbar. You won't see that because I have it blocked out, but make a shortcut of this so that, or keep it open off to the side, so that way you can reference this as you're building. A very kind of an easier way to do that, so that you're not having to look for it later. And now now that we have the monk that we're going to be making, I'll click on this green add item plus button, and from here the monk will show the features. It tells you its saving throws are strength and dex based. You get to choose 2 skills between acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. So what I'm going to do is since this is kind of related to the monk, I will take those some of these skills and think about what I want to do, because when you build your ability scores, you're getting your adjustments from the actual background. So you have to kind of keep that in mind when you're building. So I'm going to go ahead and do the monk ability. So I'm going to do acrobatics, and definitely some kind of either stealth or maybe stealth. So I'll get the physical ones out of the way, and then for the tool proficiency, I think I'm going to go with calligraphy supplies, which I think is kind of a cool way to round this character out with some. Maybe he can write well, or maybe he was a scribe, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add class, or no, I don't need to hit add class because this is the first level. That's if you want a multi-class. So going to background, so we could make him an acolyte, which I think would be appropriate, or maybe he was a farmer before he became a monk, or maybe he's still a farmer, or he can even be maybe a scribe. Let's see what the scribe gives you. So you get Dex, Intelligence, and Wisdom, which kind of plays into the strengths that they have. And you get tool proficiency of calligraphy supplies. So this is kind of where you can potentially double up, but I'm not too worried about it. So I'll pick something else, a different tool, later on. And then you get an equipment list. So yeah, I'll go with this. You get Investigation and Perception, which is a good thing to have. And then it does cater to the abilities that you want for the monk. So that's really good. Good complement for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the scribe. So clicking on the green plus button over here on the left. And then it will ask you how you want to distribute the points. So you're kind of given a choice of between these three abilities. You can do +2 and +1, or you can do +1 across the board. I think I'm going to do, you know, honestly, I think I'll do 2 and 1. That's the, you know, the traditional way. And obviously I'll do 2 on Dex, since that happens quite a bit in your character build, and then Wisdom. So those are the 2 skills out of the 3 that I chose to increase. So then you can look over some of the stuff that you have and your abilities here, just to kind of see what you've done. If you don't like this, you can always click Change Background. Now I'm going to go to Species. This is where you're basically getting your AKA race from. So for the time being, I'm just going to do a human. I mean, I could do one of the sub-races or one of the other races or species, but I don't want to. And he's going to be a medium size, so you get to pick your size now in this rule set. We're going to do... I like sign language, because I think that's an important language to have, especially for like a monk. I think it's kind of cool. And then I'll give him Elvish as a secondary language. He already has Common, so that would be covered already, hopefully. And then if you have different sources for feats, you can select that here. But I think what I'm going to do is the notes that I took earlier when I actually was building this for the show here is basically this is something that you'll have to decide as you build your character, like how you want to go about this. But essentially, these notes here are basically kind of like a guide for me to pick. So it says important considerations for the feats, like Mobile for increased maneuverability, Observant for increased passive wisdom skills, and Sentinel. And the only one I'm not really too familiar with is Sentinel, so I'll take a look at that shortly here. So let's see what we got here. So I think these are going to be your origin skills, so probably, maybe Tough might be a good one, or Alert. This is where I get hung up and it takes me forever to do, but I'll go ahead and do Tough. I just thought that would be kind of a good idea. Since he's not really going to have a lot of weapons and stuff, it's mostly hand-to-hand combat, so... And then you get a skill, one of our choice. So probably, let's see, we have... Perception, we got a lot of, let's see, so maybe athletics. Yeah, for climbing and, you know, those kinds of things, I think that's a good idea to have that. Let's see, so we got our languages, we're resourceful, we got the versatile origin feat, and then we have the skillful thing. So that's all taken care of now. So now we're going to go to abilities, and this is where you can choose how you're going to do it. Now if you don't want to use any of these methods and you just want to enter them by hand, you can enter them in the miscellaneous column, and that'll override anything here. I'm going to go with the standard array. This way I can just rearrange them. So definitely want, like, probably, so we got a 13 strength, 17 dex, 14 con. I think I want to switch this over to wisdom. So our wisdom's 13. Probably want to switch that over. So, okay, so 12 con. Alright, so charisma is kind of our dump stat there, so that's fine. So 13, 17, 12, 10, 15, 18, or 8. So that's our basically the array that we're going to get. Now we're going to level it up to level 4, so I can add some if I wanted to in different areas to make up for some of the shortcomings, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And these 2 bonuses down here come from the backgrounds. So this is what you're going to get. So when you're building your characters, make sure you realize that it's backgrounds and not your species. That gives you the base adjustments to from your background. And now for equipment. So you have 2 choices here, and this is a background kit and a class kit. So depending on what you want to do here, you can also take the gold as well. So this is just more like supplies and stuff, so I think honestly I'll take the gold. And here you get artisan's tools or a musical instrument from choice above. So I'll pick something because I sacrificed one of my tool proficiencies while I was building, so that's fine. So I'll get the spear, dagger, artisan tools. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take these since I'm going to be the big hand-to-hand, and then I'll take the gold here. So this way, I don't really need a lot of stuff. And this monk is going to be very minimal, so we don't need a ton of things. So we get the calligraphy kit, you know, the clothes, lamp, parchment, you know, that sort of stuff. Nothing major. And then some gold to survive off of. So that's all added in here. So you're 23 from your background and 50 from your class. You got a total of 73. For currency at the moment. And then once you're done, you look over the character to make sure that everything is where it should be. And this is an important step because once you hit save, it's going to basically save it, and it's hard to go back and fix it after that point. So her name is Zhao Fang, which is basically means protector, or Feng is kind of a feminine word for like scent or perfume, and Zhao is means protector. So she's kind of like this female protector type. That's going to be a woman. So we're going to hit save, and once you do that, it's going to it's asking me to get 3 more proficiencies, which I don't think is right. So something happened there where the this shouldn't come up, to be honest with you. I think that might be an error. So I will report that when I get to when I get over this over this stream here. So, but while I'm here, since I need to get a kit anyways, I think I wanted to get let's see, painter supplies. There was one I get to have like a kit. So maybe herbalism or leather. I like wood carver's tools. That sounds good. And maybe some playing cards. Yeah, I don't think this is right, so I'm just gonna X out of it. I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright, so that's that. Let me move this over so you can see what's going on here. And then I'll stretch this out to fit in the window. So this is the main screen here for this character build. And as you can see, it's starting to add some of the features as you build the character. So when I want to level up, all I have to do is click on this gear cog. And when it comes time to leveling, just make sure you communicate with your GM. And I do recommend that your GM makes a copy of the characters before you level up. So right before, if he makes a copy of it, you'll have a backup. In case you make a mistake or something gets corrupted, you'll have another version of it. But I'm going to go ahead and click on the level up button. And one of the newer things that was added to the character sheets recently was that this level up number is going to go to the rules as written. So if you're a GM and you don't use that leveling, you just ignore it. But for the time being, you're going to get the minimum here. And then the actual number that goes in here is either adjusted by hand or the GM awards it through the party sheet. So this is something the GM should be controlling more, unless they ask you to adjust it. So to level up, we're just going to click the level up button, and that should take us to this monk area again. And all it's going to do is go and give us this level up button. If there's anything mentioned in here, that once you click that, it'll give you the new traits and features that are added. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit commit. But what that is basically your add-ons for second level. One of your things, your monk focus, is kind of one of your important aspects of your build. It's almost like the key points. I think that's what that kind of replaced, or they just changed the name. Instead of key points, they call it focus points. And I'm going to go ahead and hit commit. And you look over your changes, so it's just looking at what was added here. And then go ahead and hit save. So this is the unarmed movement was added. All those sorts of features. If you go to your actions tab, you'll notice it's starting to build the monk items and such here. And it's nice because Step of the Wind, Patient Defense, Flurry of Blows, those are all being added. And then your Uncanny Metabolism, your focus points, so that's pretty cool. So I'm going to go back and we're going to go up to level 3, and this is where we're going to get our subclass, or the second step, I guess you could say, the big step. So I'm going to hit level up, and again we're going to hit the level up button here. And this is, you get Deflect Attacks, and you get to pick your subclass. So I was going to go with Warrior of the Open Hand. So this would be a really good point to make a copy of the character, so that you can have a build path where you have the first couple levels dealt with, and then you can build off of second level. So once we get the character built, we can make a copy of it at second level, and then that way from there you can choose your third level subdomain. So if I were to do this again, I could just take the character and level it up to level 2, and then save it or make a copy of it, and then from that point I can move on and just pick the second level character and pick the next level or the next subdomain. But in this case I didn't do that, but I'll go back, do it later. So anyways, I'm picking the Way of the Open Hand, and if you click on the text, it's going to tell you what you specialize in. So the Warriors of the Open Hand are masters of unarmed combat. They learn techniques to push and trip their opponents and manipulate their own energy to protect themselves from harm. So I kind of like that. So I'm going to click, kind of like you're more of a traditional martial artist type thing. And then you got Deflect Attacks, which has been updated a little bit. I know it's a little different than it was before. There's our subclass, and then Open Hand Techniques. So you get Addle, Push, and Topple. So those are related to the what is those weapon masteries. So you get this type of thing, but with your hand instead of a weapon. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to hit commit and take a look at this stuff over here on the back. It looks good. This is the summary. I don't see any problems here yet. It says proficiencies here, but I don't understand why it's blank, but we'll find out later. So I hit save, and now we're at level 3. So this is you get your subclass at level 3. So I'm going to go up to level 4 because we get an ability score increase, and I think that's about as far as we're going to go as far as leveling up goes. So we're going to go to level up, go to level 4, and here's where the ability score improvement comes. I think this time I'm just going to see, I could pick a feat at this point, which I think might be good, like initially, like for the first 5 or 6 levels, but I believe that the ability score increase is going to help more overall for the duration. And then I think what I'll do is just do the +1 across the board. That way all of those ability scores get to benefit. So you get 0. Yeah, so I get +1 on 2 different skills. So definitely want to go with dexterity and wisdom. So those are your main stats anyway. So that's why I did that. And you get a feature called slow fall, so you can reduce damage when you fall from height. So we'll go ahead and hit commit and save. So that's basically the character build, and I really think that the hardest part of doing this is this assets thing when you want a portrait, like for your character. So if I go to portraits, and then I go back to the main section here, I'm going to go ahead and search, and I'm using this from assets instead of going through this character sheet. The players won't necessarily have access to this, but as a GM, if you're in a hurry and you want to assign a lot of different your portrait pictures, I think this is a better way to go because you have quicker access. So I'm just going to type monk down here and see what kind of, yeah, I like this one. There's female monk here. There's one here. Yeah, I like this one. This is really cool. So this one and this one would match her profile pretty well. And this is a AI generated one. So is that one. I'll just do this one. It looks kind of cartoonish. So what I'm going to do is open up this portrait here and then go back to my assets. And you can drag your portraits onto your portrait area from the assets area. So I'll do this one. There we go. So there's that. So that's probably takes more time than anything else on the character build. And then here are all the different things. So you got your class things. Here's your focus. All your different things here. So that's pretty cool. They already have this effect. Kind of this. There's a note here. There's a saving throw. And then there's another saving throw and the effect prone for topple. So they got it all kind of handled right here, and as far as the monk goes. And let's see, so martial arts, slow fall. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And we don't have any weapons or armor, so that's going to be cool. So let's take a look at that. I believe there's a feature that you get. Yeah, so here's the 40 speed. So this, you get your dex bonus, your speed, and then you get this miscellaneous adjustment because you're not wearing armor. And then you're taking full advantage of dex and wisdom for your armor class. So natural armor class is 17, which is really good, but she's got a really high dexterity, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, let's go to skills. So I was going to be able to pick one more kind of like a proficiency for a tool. So we have the calligraphy kit. So if you ever in a situation role-playing where you have to do some really nice calligraphy for flavor for the game, I think I'm going to add that here as a tool just in case. And also I'm going to make sure that in my inventory I have a calligraphy kit. And I think I'll give him a backpack because that's something that you'll probably need to carry things around in. So backpack and maybe like a pouch. And maybe a rope. Something like that. Something more utility, not necessarily weapons. So let's go with rope. Or we already did that. So yeah, rope. And I'm going to give him the either caltrops or ball bearings. So I think those are kind of cool for flavor and for escape. So I'm going to give them this bag of ball bearings. Do they have any food? So water skin. That's an important thing to have. And then also some rations. There we go. So a little bit of food, a little bit of water, and some tools here. So we'll put the ball bearings in the pouch. So we're going to type the word pouch next to ball bearings so we can organize the inventory. And then the calligraphy supplies are going to go in the backpack. The lamp is going to go in the backpack. I'm going to give him some candles too. One parchment, and I think I'll do like 10. So this guy writes a lot of stuff. He takes notes, or this lady. And let's go to backpack. Okay, so we kind of have the inventory kind of situated. So you just type the container in the location area, make sure it's capitalized and spelled just like the container name. And if the ball bearings are in the pouch. And then I wanted to give her something else. I think it was, the bedroll thingy. Let's do that. The thingy. So bedroll. Yep. Somewhere that's kind of like a mattress, like a little pad thing to roll out to sleep on. So you can travel in luxury. I don't know about luxury, but no armor, no weapons. So far we're good. It's got quite a bit of gold still. And I think I wanted to give her one other skill. So that was calligraphy. Oh, wood carver. That's what I wanted to give her. She kind of whittles away at the wood when she's bored, or maybe she makes arrows, who knows. But that's a Fletcher, so. Okay, so there's a calligraphy, and then wood carver is also going to be like wisdom type base thing. So we'll just leave it at that. And then I want to make sure her inventory has that kit. So I'm going to give her the wood carver's tools and a knife, which is just a carving knife. It's not really for fighting. Is there a knife in here? I guess not. Interesting. And they get a trinket, but one of the things I noticed is that even in the 2014 rule set, those trinkets were not really made for items. They were more or less like role-playing. And you'd put them in your notes, but they don't necessarily have, room for, or they don't have anything made for them in items. So you'd have to go with a trinket. And you can have a generic thing called trinket, and then just describe it if you want to do that. So I'll do that later. I don't really want to mess with that right now, but there is a list of trinkets that comes from the player's handbook, but this never made into items. That drove me bananas. I know Rob 2E and I, a long time ago, made those for the 2014 rule set. So that is just, little things, little details. So we have all that. So I wanted to go back here. Okay, we got the wood carver stuff. No knife, apparently. There's no knife as available in inventory. I can't believe that. So for parchment, it doesn't weigh very much, so just like 0.01. I mean, it has a little weight, but not much. It's 10 sheets. And I did want to get a scroll case. So case. Yeah, so this is where she's going to keep some of her paper and stuff. And we'll put the parchment in the... Actually, no, the scroll case can go in the backpack. And then... There we go. So that's basically, kind of cleaning up the inventory so that it's nice and organized so we get ready to play. It's easier to use. And I think she's going to be lawful neutral. As female. Size is already there. She's probably about 27 years old. Maybe 5'4" in height. And 121 pounds soaking wet there. So there we go. And if you wanted, in the newer rules, they don't really have the personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. But you can still add them if you want from the 2014 content or make up your own. I do encourage you to filter this stuff out if you're going to be playing in a game. I'm not going to do it here. But this is an important aspect of building your character and your personality. You may not even know all these things initially, but as you build your character, you'll start figuring this stuff out. So I think this is an important part of the game. I think it kind of gets skipped over because most people don't think about it right away. And then later on, they may change their personality and not even play towards the strengths or the weaknesses of that player. So it's kind of this could be a dead end possibly. This log tab is for organized play like Adventure League and such, so don't have to worry about that right now. So here's the actions. So we have the cast fear for the deflect attacks, fury of blows. So you can spend this costs an action point. And I think what I'm going to do is put the number next to it, because it's nice to know the cost, because that's something that, you know, when you're in the middle of gameplay, you don't want to sit here and have to look that up. So fury of blows, this is the different things. So fury of blows, addle, fury of blows, push. Okay, so what I'm going to do is organize this. So fury of blows, I'm going to put 1 right there, and then I'm going to put a number by these so that they all kind of group together and they're near the top. And it don't matter if they're near the top or not, but I do want them together. So these are all the maneuvers that you get with fury of blows. So those are all now together in this kind of in a stack. Deflect attacks. So you get the reduction equals 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier. So what you could do with this is put a little note here. And this will help you later on. You go, oh yeah, I get this for it with that. Focus points. So, okay, so fury of blows. All of these take a focus point. So step of the wind, patient defense. These are all going to be part of your focus. And in your uncanny metabolism. See, this kind of drives me nuts. So it says, your focus on martial arts allow you to harness a well of extraordinary energy within yourself. This energy is represented by focus points. Your monk level determines the number of focus points that you have, as shown in the focus points column on the monk features table. Why don't they just put it there? It's just so annoying. So, you know what? If you are so inclined, you can make your own table. And that way, when you are looking to build your character, you don't have to keep digging through the rules. That's so annoying. So, class monk, that's why I had this bookmarked earlier. And when you come over here, you can see your focus points. And obviously level 4. And your unarmed movement is 10 feet. That's already, and then your martial arts is 1d6. So I wish this at least this focus points table was there, because you don't have to keep looking at that every time. That's ridiculous. So let's change this. So right now the focus points is at 2, which is just the default number. So if we change that to preparation, we can change the focus points to 4 times per day. And then go back to combat, and now you have those expanded out. And then this uncanny metabolism. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Okay, that's fine. And focus points, do they come back after a while? You expend these points to enhance or fuel certain features. When you expend it, it is unavailable until you finish a short or long rest. So this is something that's kind of new with the rule set. So if I go back to preparation, it should be that, you know, if you have, there's some features that basically say if you take a short rest, you get 1 point back, and then if you do a long rest, you get them all back. Well, this isn't that particular case, but there's a new delimiter here that you could pick. It's called dual, which is in some cases you'll need it, but in this case, we'll just leave this here at rest. So when you do a short rest, you can gain those back, which is really nice. All right, so that's pretty much all I had to do, was just adjust this, kind of organize my functions here so that they're kind of grouped together. And then I organize the inventory. So that, as far as a player goes, they should learn how to do that. Initially, I think the GM should show them that, but then, you know, after a couple levels or so, the player should be able to handle that. And as I said, I don't really have any weapons here. but I do have... I need to get an unarmed strike. See, that's another thing. Let me check to see if that's in weapons, even though it's not actually a weapon. So if you go to items and you go to unarmed, yeah, see, that's not even an attack. So what I would do with that is you can make a weapon out of it if you want, or you can make it an item and add it to your character sheet so that it's easier to access later. Or you can just build it on your monk stuff here, because it's not really a weapon. So it's just an attack. So you can do that in here. So I'll build that as just as an attack. So this is unarmed defense, or unarmed, this is your unarmed strike. So add item, and we'll call it unarmed strike. And I believe it's under martial arts. Yeah, so let me take a look at that. I think that's already handled here. Yeah, so it's already done. I don't have to do it. But this would be nice if this was actually also an item in case you had to add it to someone else's character sheet. And it doesn't necessarily have to be martial arts. It can be, you know, whatever you need it for. But nonetheless, this martial arts is the unarmed strike. So I don't need to do anything. But I'm going to put a note here because you still used to the old rule set and how it reads. So I'll just put like a little note there. Because in this case, it is unarmed. And I want to make sure it's right, so you gain the following benefits. You can make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. Your martial arts die is 1d6. This die changes as you gain monk levels, as shown in the martial arts. See, that drives me nuts. Why don't I at least put a link here so we don't have to keep going through that? That is such malarkey. So I'll bring that up, and at the minimum, I would drag this link here so that, you know, you're not constantly looking for this thing. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so right here. Oops. Yeah, I don't know why it has to be so difficult. I mean, just put it there. There we go. And now if your player has to look that up, they can just go right here to the link instead of going through the whole book to find it. And I would do the same thing for that Fury of Blows. Anything that says go to this table, you know, you can link that. Dexterous attacks, you can use your dex modifier instead of your strength modifier for the attack and damage. So let's take a look at this and see if it's set up that way. So it says melee 1d6 plus 4. That looks right. Yep, it's based on dex. That makes sense. And I guess it changes as you go up. So I think at level 5 it goes to a d8 from a d6. So this is the fine-tuning stuff, right? The stuff I did beginning was more or less, you know, just the building part. And then you start getting the customization part, and that's what takes a little bit of time. And you can go through and make sure you have everything here. So this resourceful, you gain heroic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. That's already, I probably already dealt with. Skillful, we already got that. Versatiles, already have that. So we actually had wood carver as a wood carver's tools. So we want to add that here. Simple weapons, if at all. Common sign language, and Elvish. So it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's what's dealt with. Alright, so that's the monk. So this is unarmed strike should be something available to all characters. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know why that's no longer, or why it was never a thing. I know that other supplements that people have made, like Rob 2E stuff, or you can make your own equipment and basically put it in there or make it an effect, because that's annoying. big time. Okay, so yeah, so I put notes here next to these so I know what these things do sometimes, because it can get annoying, like when you're in the middle of a game and you have to look that stuff up. This thing right here, I talked about this earlier. It says, you know, look at this table in the player's handbook and you'll find out which points you got. You know, that's BS. Give me the goddamn table. Don't make me dig through the book. Let's see, the energy is represented by key points. You can expend these. Yeah, that is super annoying. Let's see. Unarmed strike. See, that's already here. Why is that even... Oh, is this the one I added? Yeah, I think this is the one I added. I don't need that anymore, because it's under martial arts. Okay. Patient defense. You can expend these points, or go to go to this page under the... Hey Dan, good day. Go to this page on this paragraph. It doesn't even tell you that. It just says look at the monk table. So at the minimum, I would bookmark this in anything that calls out for these tables in here. Like this one here gives you your martial arts, your focus, and your unarmed movement. I would at least do these two, the martial arts and the focus, so that you have it, because at level 5 it changes and then you get 5 focus points, which are key points. This kind of stuff here is really what drives me bananas. So where it has the focus points, wait, what did I do? Did I delete that? I must have accidentally deleted it. What? You're kidding me. That's alright, I can do it. I can build my own. So go to edit and then add power. And this will be the focus part. And I don't know if all these are focus abilities or not. I don't think so, but we'll see. And then we'll say focus points. Hocus pocus focus. And then all we're going to do is switch this to preparation and change this to 4 and rest. So that's all you have to do there. But what I don't like is the fact that this thing should be linked in here. There's no reason why you should be digging through the book for that. Doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like that with other rule sets, not just D&D. I mean, I've looked at other books and it's like, go to this page. And it's like, give me a damn link for it, especially if it's like a PDF or Fantasy Grounds. I can understand the big heavy hardback, you have to look through it, but let's use technology where we can. That's ridiculous. Alright, so that's that. I'm just going to rant about that all day, because that's one of my pet peeves about virtual tabletops and PDFs, is put the damn hyperlinks in there. Just... Yes, exactly. There are no pages. Exactly. That's another issue. I don't even want to get into that. Yeah, because they can't make it exactly the same thing. That's very infuriating. Go to this page. What page? I mean, you have the search function, right? Like when you go to the books and you go to this search page, you have that. But then you got to go through all this just to find out what you need. So if I go to monk, how many entries am I going to get? Oh yeah, so see, this is... Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yep. I don't know. I'm really... I get that really... It's just little things like that really piss me off. It's a difficulty for them, but something that could be resolved. Yes, exactly. If you do that, then you're going to have to do that for everything. I get it. I mean, it's not something that has to happen, because it's not normally a part of the book, but the advantage of using a virtual tabletop is things like that, right? So that's why I have it as my library. I mean, yeah, we have that nice search function and such, but most players aren't going to do that, especially during character creation. I mean, they're going to go, oh, where do you find it? Adding in new built-in abilities so you don't even need effects. Yeah, they've done that. Yeah, they've done a lot of that, as a matter of fact. You don't have to do very much of it. Only time you really need that is if it's something very complicated, like something beyond an if type, you know, you need an extension or something for, or they, you know, there's really no need why we should have to be doing a lot of this. And now it's very minimal. I only have to do a couple things, and that's just for my preference. It's not something you have to have. So adding that customization is fun and good, but you know, it also depends on the rule set and the players, and you know how much you want to get into it, and how much convenience you want out of it, because that's something that you know, could slow the game down if you look at it that way. Yeah, so I think that's good. So Zhao Feng is a female monk human. Level 4, Scribe. 17 AC, not bad for an unarmed defense, but she has an 18 dex, so that's part of it. 16 Wisdom, very wise. Not so comely or such a good personality. She's probably got the personality of a dry sponge here. So, probably just doesn't say much. And then Woodcarver's tools are going to go in the backpack. And I think we're good. So this is pretty much done. I mean, other than the notes and the background stuff, we don't need to do anything else. So it's unarmed strike. You know, I don't know if any. See, the focus points are here. I'd probably put that near the top, maybe. Patient defense. Does that take focus? Yeah. So that is a focus ability. Step of the wind is, yeah. So all these are focus based. I don't know if this is. Yep. You can expend focus points. You do so, you roll your martial arts die and regain a number of hit points equal to your monk level plus the number rolled. So if you go to this, there you go. It's already calculated. So you roll 1d6 or 1d10 and then that. So cool. So you use your monk die, which is a 1d6, and then your monk level gets added to that. You roll it, you regain a number of hit points equal to your monk level. So he's level 4. Okay. Nice. Alright, so that looks good. Yeah, self-contemplated, it makes her seem standoffish, lowering. Yeah, probably. I don't think she talks, to be honest. She probably nods or, you know, does sign language, because I gave her sign language, so that was important, because that's how she communicates. It's more with her body than it is with her mouth. I think she was taught at an early age. She just stands around and punches trees and grunts. Yeah, exactly. But I think she'd make a great bodyguard. Like, she doesn't talk back. Like, even if you yell at her, she just sits there and she just like waits for her to actually have to do something. Probably looks at that as useless, like wasted time. Yeah, I don't mind the lower charisma, actually. It kind of makes sense. And you know, who cares? She's not there for beauty. I mean, she's got a shaved head. I mean, it doesn't matter. She's got tattoos and stuff, so her whole focus is on her martial arts, and that makes sense for this build. Because she's a way of the open hand or whatever, or they call it. They don't call it way anymore. I think it's, what do they call it? It's the warrior of the open hand. Not way. Open hand technique, slow fall. So this is interesting. So you can take a reaction. So this is what I'm going to do with this. Even though it doesn't need to. Oh, it's already here. Well, what I'm going to do is put a note here. 5 times level. Because that's the kind of crap that slows things down when you don't have that. When you don't have that figured out. That's not going to hurt anything to have this little notes here. Yeah, people are into that. Exactly. Slow fall. So you can take the Oh, I want to put reaction too, so player knows that this is a reaction. I'm gonna go through these other ones and see if there's anything like that. Addle, push, topple. See, this is nice. You got this Fury of Blows, like this push and all that. It's nice to have these here so that you can read it and you don't have to go to some damn table in the middle of the book somewhere. See, patient defense, step of the wind. That's short or long rest. Just kind of going over these to make sure they're detailed enough. Fury of Blows. Okay, so you can expend. So we'll put a bonus action there in case, even though it's kind of situational. I'll put that there so it reminds me that it can be used as a bonus action. But you know, that's the little things that you want to do for your players, or get them to do it so that they know what they're getting themselves into. Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing this character actually, because then I wouldn't say a damn thing. I'd just go in and kick some butt and not worry about role playing. I'd just go in and I'll say, like whenever they ask you something, you just go, I love it. And then maybe you might sigh, but I don't think that happened very often. I don't think she shows much emotion. I think she'd just be kind of quiet. But anyways, folks, that's it. I think I'm yammering and lollygagging too much now. Take care, folks, and you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you guys around next time. I think I'll build a different class, maybe a paladin next time. I'll make a nice fancy background. I don't know what you guys think about that, but this is all AI, of course, but I think it kind of gives you that theme. And then the other thing is I brought out this character sheet to make it a little bit more legible, because I know when you're doing a stream and you have Fantasy Grounds up and all this other stuff, it gets kind of distracting, and then it's kind of zoomed out so you can't hardly see it. So I kind of try to expand this to make it to where you can see the character sheet a little bit better. And of course, I got my little handy dandy pointer as well. But that's it folks. So this is a monk build. This will be archived on YouTube and on Twitch, so if you guys missed it, you can always go back and watch it. I'm going to end the stream, and all the information that I had for this video is also